Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into something I'm absolutely pumped to talk about, mainly because we're going to solve a huge mystery today, a mystery I guarantee almost all of us have experienced firsthand. We're getting into the science of micro-stressors. If you've ever found yourself totally puzzled as to why modern professionals, and yeah, definitely including yourself here, feel just unexplainably exhausted by the end of the day, even when literally nothing catastrophic happened, well, you're exactly where you need to be. We're going to expose the invisible forces that are silently draining your energy. I want you to really picture this for a second. You know that heavy, completely drained feeling you get after what was, on paper anyway, an entirely easy workday? Think about an average Tuesday. You had absolutely no major deadlines, no massive fires to put out. You spent the day, clearing out your inbox, maybe hopped on a couple of routine Zoom calls, updated a standard spreadsheet. The whole shebang was completely routine. But then you close your laptop and bam! You feel so heavy, just incredibly, deeply drained. Your brain feels like absolute mush, and you barely have the energy to even think about what's for dinner. So why exactly does that happen when your actual physical and mental load was practically zero? Okay, let's dive into this, because the underlying truth here is a real game changer. It changes everything we think we know about workplace fatigue. The quote says it all. You think you're losing focus because of burnout, but the real culprit is 1,000 tiny physiological disruptions. This completely reframes the issue. What this tells us is that this exhaustion, it is not a personal failing. It isn't a lack of stamina or a poor work ethic, or you just not having enough willpower. We constantly beat ourselves up for not pushing through, right? But the science shows our everyday environments are literally working against our biology in ways we barely even register. Section 1. Your hidden saboteur. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the definition of a micro-stressor. We aren't talking about huge, glaring, toxic workplace problems here. We're looking at microscopic triggers, things like interface lag, a super slow-loading application, that random notification ping that completely derails your train of thought, or even, just having really poor overhead lighting in your office. These annoyances are so incredibly common that we just brush them off as the normal cost of doing business in the digital age. But biologically, these triggers actively keep your body in this constant, low-level state of hypervigilance. They are quietly, constantly burning right through your energy reserves. And it's actually kind of funny when you compare traditional pressure against these micro-stressors. I mean, think about it. For millennia, humans successfully survived apex predators. Our brains evolved to be absolutely perfect at reacting to obvious, immediate threats to our survival. We are hardwired for those massive, adrenaline-pumping moments. But today, our modern threats look completely different. They're flickering monitors, slightly laggy interfaces. It is deeply ironic that a human brain, which, again, perfectly evolved to outsmart wild predators in the jungle, is currently being totally defeated at a desk by a spinning, loading beach ball. Section 2. The Neurobiological Deep Dive. Let's move to and see how this builds, because it's time to look under the hood and see exactly how our biology is being hijacked by our own tech. Step 1. It starts with that digital friction, like interface lag. Step 2. That tiny, supposedly harmless delay actually activates your amygdala. Now, your amygdala is your brain's primitive threat detector. And here's the crazy part. It does not know the difference between a physical threat and a frozen spreadsheet. It just knows your goals are being blocked. So step 3, it triggers an immediate spike in cortisol, the stress hormone, literally prepping your body for a physical fight. And finally, step 4, that flood of cortisol directly causes an executive function drain. Your higher order brain power is literally being siphoned away to deal with a fake crisis. And the end result of this whole cascade is a constant state of low-level hypervigilance. The really insidious part about this is that because these microscopic triggers don't actually feel like a roaring lion or a massive high-stakes presentation, we ignore them. They don't register as traditional, terrifying pressure, so you don't get the physical release of running away to burn off that stress, right? You just sit there. The cortisol literally just sits in your system. We grit our teeth, ignore the friction, and our bodies silently endure this exhausting stress loop all day long without any resolution whatsoever. Section 3. The cost of friction. So the crucial point is the aggregate cost of all this unresolved stress. It is literally death by 1,000 cuts. This silent erosion of your cognitive endurance is what shatters your peak performance. And you see this compromised executive function show up in super recognizable ways during critical tasks. It looks like snapping at a coworker at 3 p.m. over a totally minor question, or staring blankly at a spreadsheet, completely unable to make a simple strategic decision that would have been an absolute breeze at 9 a.m.
Your peak performance is shattered because the cumulative cost of all those tiny hidden cortisol spikes has completely drained the exact mental resources you need for deep, meaningful work. So, I want to leave you with a very practical question to ask yourself today. Take a second and literally look around you, wherever you're sitting. What microscopic triggers are silently draining your peak performance right now? Is it a buzzing fluorescent light bulb, a laggy mouse? Is it a slow internet connection on your phone, or maybe a chair that constantly squeaks? Finding and fixing those hidden frictions might just be the secret key to finally getting your energy and your focus back. Thanks so much for exploring this explainer with me today.